So what he's basically saying is, he's just I think he's just basically going over his thoughts on Google's announcement of, we shouldn't be searching Google. Google should be just giving us what we need.
Yeah,
when
what
we need
Schmidt
it.
said.
Yeah, and I think what did he say on this? He basically said that that's cool. It's essentially like Google is essentially like a collective intelligence of all our thoughts. You kind of need to think of it as an entity which is just pretty much just leeching all our thoughts and all our questions. Every single entry you put into the box. I mean, there's the whole thing of like when you're searching Google, like who's searching who?
Yeah.
I mean, Google's searching you because every time you put a piece into it, it learns a lot from you and learns a lot from the entire human species.
I think it was kind of cool. I think you mentioned in there as well, like going on from that no one saw that coming. There were really very few people. Like when we thought of an AI or thought of something like that, there were always like, because of the Cold War, like back then there was separate AIs, say with like the Russians and then the US. They both had their separate like internet, so to speak.
Yeah.
But no one ever really predicted Google. They didn't really.
Well, I guess even now, like when people think of AI, they always think of like, oh, it'll be like a box.
Yeah.
It'll be like a robot in a box that you can talk to. It's like, no, the internet is the AI and it's decentralized.
People don't consider Google to actually be a thing, even though now you can speak into your phone, ask Google a question, it returns the answer. That's the computer of Star Trek. Like, that is the computer of Star Trek. Computer, what is the population of my house? 4.9 milliseconds. That just really went off topic there. Yeah, but it is the AI that no one predicted it. No one knew. And he's saying, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the other thing is, pretty much, the other thing Schmidt said was that people will have to change their names in the future. Like, legally change their names.
When you get to 18, hey.
Yeah, because of all the stuff they've shared online. Because, I mean, a lot of kids don't realize that everything they put online, right? Like, even most people don't realize everything they put online will be there for all eternity.
Yeah.
Like, for as far as your imagination can possibly think of into the future, it will be there.
Yeah. You need to craft your story now.
Yeah.
Craft your story, people.
That's kind of why we love doing this, because, like, who cares? Like, our views are low. Who cares? We have, like, 200 views a week or something. Which is, that's cool, but this is, like, posterity. This is our thoughts and us on camera every single week. And this will be here for all eternity, which is amazing. Like,
Yeah, it's just
yeah, this thing is saying that because all the kids, like, especially growing up like now in high school with
kind of would suck.
Like all the hormones all raging, and just like all emotional, and you're just like, oh man, I'm gonna share it to the world. Oh, fuck.
I saw my old forum post from way back, and that was just embarrassing reading through it. I was part of this forum, which I'm not going to say. And it was like going through all of the weird things. I remember, and it hit me really hard because a friend of mine, or a friend of the fucking forum person, he committed suicide and it was all very sad. And all of that. And I remember acting sad, and then I'm looking back and going, God damn.
Yeah.
I posted these. What is the nature of the universe type posts? I had a lot of them. It was very bad.
So at least back then, I guess our avatars were kind of a little hidden.
Yeah, that's it.
Although it wouldn't be hard to
Facebook.
find.
No, it wouldn't be.
Like, just type in our names, I'm sure you could probably go back and find
our
forum posts.
Yeah, well, see, that's it. At least that's a little bit hidden, but more stuff now. It's becoming more and more public.
Yeah, post on Facebook.
Far easier. Yeah.
Cool.
Alright, shall we...
So where is the future leading?
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's get Arthur C. Clarke to tell us how to predict it.
Horizon filmed him at the World's Fair in New York. He's Arthur Clarke.
Trying to predict the future is a discouraging and hazardous occupation because the prophet invariably falls between two stools. If his predictions sound at all reasonable, you can be quite sure that in 20 or at most 50 years, the progress of science and technology has made him seem ridiculously conservative. On the other hand, if by some miracle a prophet could describe the future exactly as it was going to take place, his predictions would sound so absurd, so far-fetched, that everybody would laugh him to scorn. This has proved to be true in the past, and it will undoubtedly be true, even more so, of the century to come. The only thing we can be sure of about the future is that it will be absolutely fantastic. So, if what I say now seems to you to be very reasonable, then I'll fail completely. Only if what I tell you appears absolutely unbelievable, have we any chance of visualizing the future as it really will happen?
So what do we think?
It's so true. You have to actually sound ridiculous when you're predicting the future. At least when we're talking long future, like a good few decades. You have to sound ridiculous or it's just too little. Far too little.
And at least half it'll be wrong.
Yeah. Well, it has to be. It has to be the nature of it.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that you give... I forget who said it, but it was like science fiction people, like they create... They give ideas for what the future could be and then they end up creating it that way because they give...
Peter... I love, I don't know if it was his quote, but Peter Diamandis, one of the founders of Singularity University, he's like, yeah, the best way to actually, to predict the future is to invent it.
Yeah, that's so true. And then, looking at Arthur C. Clarke and like the stuff he predicted there was so accurate.
Yeah.
So ridiculously accurate. And he was saying that you have to be ridiculous. And it's funny, like hearing him talk now, it sounds, pretty normal.
Yeah.
You get surgeons working on the country.
What, 64 or what?
64?
56? Yeah, 56 years ago.
No,
46 years ago. Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Maths.
Yeah. And it's just ridiculous. He did it so amazingly.
He predicted,
well.
I think one of the things I remember him talking about was how, you could be anywhere on the world and you could contact your friends and even if they didn't know where your own location was.
Yeah.
And back then they would have been like, oh my god.
This is 64, it's like, before colour TV.
Yeah. And now it's called the mobile phone.
Yeah. You don't even consider. Well, like his idea that he came up with the rough idea of like geosynchronous satellites going around. And he said that if you had 3 of them, you could actually map pretty much. Sort of. You could map the Earth going around, like except for the polar caps. But what was funny, which I told you earlier tonight, but I'll tell you again because it's really cool, that he thought they'd be manned. He thought satellites would be manned.
That seems weird.
It does. Like, I mean, he got a lot of it right, but then there's such massive things that you think, oh, well, that's just so stupid. But he's predicting so far into the... Well, maybe not 64, but when he made that prediction, I think it was in the 40s, then, it was like...
We have a manned satellite, the ISS.
Oh, yeah, true.
And more soon if the whole hotel space industry takes off.
We're about to get up there, Virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, what do you think is the best way to predict the future? Like, he's got that beginning bit, or... Invent it, yeah, true.
That's what I think Moore's Law kind of comes down to.
Yeah.
I swear there's so much included in Moore's Law. Like, Moore's Law is the whole, like, it pretty much gets smaller and doubles in speed and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure because people have said, it has to follow Moore's Law, all the manufacturers are like, shit, by this time next year, we have to be at this size, so let's get there.
Yeah.
And I swear that happens with so many things. Like, I swear, like, Kurzweil and all these futurists and everything when they actually say, like, this is where it should be at this year, I think that puts pressure on the industry to actually say, fuck, that's where we need to be. Let's move there.
Well, it just gives ideas, like the visionaries, the oracles, so to speak, saying that, hey, this is where we can be at this point. And I think of it because of this and this and this and this. It's like logically predicting where it can go. Yeah. Even if you're pretty much just guessing, still there, you can logically predict that I think this, this and this, therefore we should aim in that direction.
Well, yeah, that's all new ideas are, I think, is just combining existing ideas together.
Yeah. But see, then you get people like Arthur C. Clarke seeing a definite trend. The trend of communication getting more and more.
Time.
Yeah, like you can't predict, like he's predicting like pretty much 40 years in the future.
Yeah.
And he's predicting
we've got rough ideas, but...
Well, we haven't gone 40 years in the future, no, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, I guess 40 years you're talking like post-singularity stuff almost.
Yeah, nearly. Well, Hive 2045? We're getting there?
Yeah, 45.
Hive45, yeah. So, 40 years we should be...
Worked out we got like 1,759 episodes now to go. Brilliant. Until 2045.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know how you can predict like that far into it. I love the jumping on trends, and I love you have to be ridiculous. You have to actually go, because if it sounds reasonable, it's going to happen in the next few years. That's the nature of exponential growth.
Where it's like the only thing you can be sure of is it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And fascinating.
It was like how you said before that, about using your voice to control a mobile phone. I was like, oh no, it's probably going to take 5 years, probably going to take that. No. Just looking back, just after we finished that episode, I was like, that's so wrong. It's going to be quicker than that.
I've been using it on my phone lately.
Sweet.
Like, just send text to blah, blah, blah.
So I tried it with my iPhone, the iPhone 4, and it doesn't have a lot of features with the voice. It's
yeah. Android's already overtaken.
Yeah,
It's only getting
it's
better.
not as it doesn't have as many applications and all of that yet. Yeah, well, yeah.
End of next
so
year.
therefore, at the moment, the better phone is the iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
end of next year.
So I don't know, I'd love for people to say like how you think you can predict the future. Like, what is a good way to do it? That I think being ridiculous is the best thing I've picked up from this.
Let's give it like where do you think the future will be? What will be in the future in 10 years? Let's do 10 years.
Robotic cats. 10 years. See, I don't know. I can't come up with that on the spot. The trend being everything you do is recorded.
Yeah,
That's soon.
one of like
Yeah.
infinite possibilities.
Well, see, that's the problem, that everything is changing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, like in the year 2000, actually that probably would be roughly possible, predicting Facebook.
See, I'm actually thinking, you know, our one website idea type thing where there's just, I'm thinking,
Or the feed from Google.
I'm thinking like possibly 5 years.
Yeah.
My based on what I've been seeing and some ideas we've come up with, like I'm thinking that that's going to be 5 years away. Where it's just you have one website, you go on there and it's just everything's there, and it's like, well, what's next? What do we need after that?
Yeah, it's very tough to do. You should think about it, and maybe do it like next week. We could do that Singularity thing. Actually, like do a rough prediction. That'd be fun. I haven't actually done that.
We could do like what do we think of 5 years from now?
Yeah, 5, 10, 20.
20. God damn it.
Yeah, 5, 10, 20.
Okay, cool.
We won't go. Anyway.
You know, tune in for next week then. That'll be the topic.
It'll be fun.
Awesome. Cool. It's been Hive45. I'm Nathan Waters.
I'm Tristan Grace.
Catch you next week. Where's that? Always lose this thing.